news comes first. This is WECT News at 11.
Starting to be an icy mess out there tonight. Hopefully you are safe and not on the roads.
We have said it for most of the week. It is here now. An ice storm is moving across southeastern North Carolina at this hour. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I'm John Evans.
I'm Frances Weller. We have team coverage tonight of this winter storm. We're tracking the latest snow and ice chance and road conditions.
Let's get right to First Alert meteorologist Eric Davis. And Eric, you said we're still have several hours of this precipitation ahead.
Oh yeah, at least several more hours. This is going to continue through much of the overnight hours. And of course, the big hard question is precipitation type. There's a little bit of good news. It looks like we're not seeing too many reports of freezing rain at this point. So that's really good news if you want to hold on to your power. It means less chance we're going to have trees falling on the power lines or power lines coming down. But most of what's falling in southeastern North Carolina, particularly coastal portions of southeastern North Carolina, is still a wintry mix, mostly of sleet. That is ice pellets falling down and still accumulating out there. It's still going to cause some problems on roads, still going to cause some problems on sidewalks. So we're still going to have icy problems even with the sleet, particularly on surfaces. Now, it does look like we're trying to get some confirmation of this, but especially up in Bladen County, it looks like we're starting to see a lot of the precipitation, particularly, say, Elizabethtown northward, changing over to snow. At least that's what the first digital Doppler indicates, also up into portions of Duplin County and maybe even extreme western Columbus County and over to Robeson County. Some of that precipitation, sleet, now changing more over to snow, or it might be a mixture of snow and sleet in some of those areas. And it looks like some accumulation, maybe 1 to 2 inches if you're in Bladen County. That's a real possibility. And even near the coast, we could see this event end with maybe a trace or a dusting of snow. In Wilmington, we're still holding strong at 30 degrees. The temperature has not budged here in the last couple of hours. We have a north wind at 14 miles per hour, giving us a feels like temperature of 20 degrees. That's another story. Bitterly cold temperatures, not only for the rest of tonight, but into your Saturday as well. Remember, first alert action day still in effect Saturday because of icy conditions. We'll have more on that coming up.
All right, let's take a live look at the Isabel Holmes Bridge right now. Wilmington police advising drivers to please stay away. They say the freezing rain and ice have made the roads dangerous. The bridge tenders tell us there aren't any plans to close either this or the Cape Fear Memorial Bridge. But again, Wilmington police say the Isabel Holmes Bridge right now is dangerous. There are some bridges and roads closed tonight, though.
Yeah, the town of Ocean Isle Beach posting earlier tonight, Fran, the Odell Williamson Bridge closed to all traffic between the mainland and the island because of ice accumulating on the bridge. It'll reopen when it is deemed safe to reopen it. City of Wilmington posting earlier the Dan Cameron Bridge. That's the bridge on I-140 across the Cape Fear River. The Post called that impassable. Also saying the I-140 exit Wilmington-Shallotte is closed because of ice. And the MLK Parkway between Carr Avenue and downtown Wilmington also closed because of ice on that roadway. WECT's Kendall McGee has traveled around New Hanover County for the past several hours. She's live now along South College Road. So what do the roads look like where you are now, Kendall?
Well, John, it is frigid outside. This sleet is miserable. The trucks behind me all have really large icicles on them, as well as our car. We've been running the heat for a while, so we were able to get our doors open, but there is a pretty thick sheet of ice on most things out here. Now, we were outside at some of these road closures a little bit earlier. Right now you're looking at video of MLK Parkway shut down at Carr Avenue. Police tonight blocked it off because of the dangerous conditions. We're also seeing a handful of power outages, but nothing substantial quite yet. Power crews from the Midwest came down this week to help, and groups from western North Carolina actually rolled in this afternoon, and that's in addition to our local power crews. Freezing rain is what they dread the most in terms of power outages, and it's the conditions we're seeing now and expecting to see continue overnight. The timeline of the storm has been a challenge. Linemen have been waiting since 6 a.m. to jump into action, but really the brunt of the storm shifted to much later in the day and overnight, making for what could be a challenging and dangerous response for them.
When trees are ice laden, they're not, they can create possibility of limbs breaking, falling down. It's night, the roads are challenging, so these are safety conditions we have to factor into their response. We're not going to put them out on the roads unless it's safe to do so, but when it is, we're going to get out there and restore power as quickly and safely as we can.
Now, nobody ever wants to see those outages, but these crews here are ready to go. They are staged at 2 different places in Wilmington. And just to kind of give you an eye on, what's going on here, this is on our cars. And if you just think about it, it's only a matter of time until it's on our roads. So please stay home if you can. And if you have to drive, please take it slow and be very, very careful. Back to you guys in the studio. All
right, Kendall McGee live tonight. Now, we're not seeing many power outages across southeastern North Carolina, and that's a good thing. Right now, Duke Energy Progress, the outage map, showing 5 outages around Wilmington, a few dozen happening around Jacksonville, several hundred, though, more inland around the Raleigh area. For 4-County Electric, the outage map not showing any outages in Bladen, Columbus, or Duplin, Onslow, or Pender, even Sampson counties. And also, if you look at the Brunswick Electric membership map, no outages on that map as well.
The winter storm not just impacting travel on the roads, all flights in and out of Wilmington International Airport were canceled tonight and early tomorrow morning. And we're hearing reports out of Raleigh tonight that a plane has skid off the runway at Raleigh-Durham International. No one was hurt and no damage to the plane, but just an idea of how dangerous this weather is for airplanes as well. Not too many people out and about on this Friday night as the freezing rain continues to come down. WECT's Anna Austin Boyers joins us now from downtown Wilmington. Anna Austin, what is it looking like out there right now?
Well, Fran, on what is usually a packed Friday night downtown, it's almost a ghost town here. And let me show you one of the reasons why. Signs like this on a lot of businesses here downtown, most of them closing early due to weather and just really people staying at home. And the streets are very slick down here with the freezing rain steadily coming down for the last few hours. Many businesses down here either shut down early or didn't open up at all. And the few businesses that said they didn't see too many customers out today. On what would be a busy Friday night for most, it's something you almost never hear. The few that did make
I feel like from New York where I'm used to like 5 feet of snow. Right now they do have quite a bit, and my parents are saying it's -16. So here I'm like, all right, it's cold, I'll give you that, but it's no New York, so.
It's 60 degrees in Texas right now. I'm good.
As we've said all night and as you've heard, stay off these roads if you don't have to be on them. We'll continue to monitor this storm and the effects of it into the weekend. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much. In Whiteville, thick sleet and ice is starting to pile up and looks like more snow. Kara sent this to us through See It, Snap It, Send It of their dog Roscoe. Hey, Roscoe, it's cold out there, right? Taking in the icy weather, but I bet Roscoe's ready to come inside. Bill Buckley spotted icicles hanging in Carolina Beach around 5 o'clock. Lenore Popkinchalk spotting the ice on this tree in Bolton in Columbus County, and Karen Hamilton also seeing ice on a tree in Scotts Hill in Pender County. Now, if you see anything like that, if you can do it safely, please send us your winter weather pictures of what you're seeing around you. You can upload them straight to See It, Snap It, Send It through the WECT News app. Just tap Add Your Media to upload your pictures, or you can also send video.
A crime report coming in during the ice storm tonight. Police are investigating a shooting that damaged the inside of a store. Investigators say the shooting happened at the Prince Mini Mart just about 7:30 tonight. That's next to the intersection of North 30th Street. Officers say when they arrived, they were told someone had gotten shot, ended up taken by car to New Hanover Regional Medical Center. The victim, according to investigators, is expected to be okay. No word on what led up to the shooting or whether police have a suspect in mind, whoever they say pulled the trigger.
It's not just the East Coast bracing Mother Nature's fury tonight.
Yeah, millions in the West Coast are under the threat of a rare storm.
A live look at Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, where right now conditions are looking a lot similar to what we have here. Heavy wind and freezing temperatures, but nothing as far as snow so far.
Yeah, the same in the Fayetteville area. Chris Adams sending us this image through See It, Snap It, Send It. So not far from southeastern North Carolina, we are seeing accumulating snow. There's a chance some flakes may already be falling in some inland areas, Fran, that's what Eric was saying earlier.
Well, and you know, there are some folks out there who are hoping that we will see some of it. Looks like that's a possibility.
Yeah, at least a possibility. Maybe not everything we'd hope, but hey, a little bit's better than none, and that certainly does seem like it's a possibility. Already starting to see some snow flying. It looks like around Bladen County. It looks like Bladen County starting to change over to some snow. I did get a report from Whiteville, Chris Cawley reporting from Whiteville, that they are still in sleet right now, even though our radar is showing a little bit of snow. So the snow may be a little bit more aggressive on the radar than what we're actually seeing, but by all indications, it looks like most of Columbus County is still in the sleet area, and almost everybody near the coast still sleet at this point. But it is snowing. Greenville, Raleigh, it looks like the back edge of the snow now getting towards Greensboro, and Charlotte looks like Columbia also now changing over to snow, and Florence also seems to be changing over to snow as well. But we are still seeing mainly that icy mix though here right along the coast, Wilmington. And remember, as we said, even though we have turned over to sleet, still you can get icy spots with sleet, so please be careful as you're driving around tonight. Again, bridges and overpasses seem to be the big issue tonight. They are absolutely treacherous, and it's no surprise we've had temperatures below freezing for quite some time. That cold air goes under the bridge or the overpass, and that really leads to ideal conditions for the temperature to drop along those roadways before everywhere else. But even some other icy spots are likely to crop up in the hours ahead as temperatures will drop at least a little bit more. We'll go ahead and zoom on in with the First Alert Digital Doppler. It looks like primarily ice still in Pender County, sleet for the most part. Wallace had a little bit of snow earlier. It looks like they've been kind of going back and forth. Probably more sleet though than snow at this point, but it definitely looks like northern portions of Bladen County, Elizabethtown, and points to the north up towards the Cumberland County border. We are seeing snow here, and maybe even in western portions of Bladen County as well. We do know around Whiteville, even though our radar is showing a little bit of snow, that it's still sleeting in Whiteville. But as you get west of Whiteville, maybe around Chadbourne and back towards Fair Bluff, a little bit of snow flying there. So if you are, say, in extreme western Columbus County, maybe we'll say the northwest half of Bladen County, and maybe even to extreme western Pender County, wouldn't be surprised if a few spots walk away with a few inches of snow before all is said and done. And if you live near the coast, you may even have the chance of seeing at least a trace to a dusting on top of the ice that we've seen. So 26 for tonight. It's primarily sleet at this point, but a burst of snow not out of the realm of possibility, maybe even near the coast the way things are tracking right now. 26 for the overnight low, but wind chill values deep into the teens as you wake up tomorrow, so bitterly cold. So hopefully everybody can hold on to their power tonight. 38 for your high tomorrow. Remember, for most of tomorrow morning, temperatures will be below freezing. There are going to be icy conditions still on roads, especially bridges and overpasses, but even sidewalks are going to be slick and dangerous. So please be careful if you're heading out, and north winds at 10 miles per hour may keep wind chills in the 20s for much of the day. In terms of our hour-by-hour forecast model, it does show here as we advance over the next couple of hours, the sleet starting to push more off the coast, at least a little bit of a change over to snow in some places. As we head towards about 4 o'clock in the morning, even near the coast, we might have a little bit of snow, maybe a quick burst of snow, maybe around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. But by about 7 a.m., all of the precipitation is over across southeastern North Carolina. We're just going to be left with those howling northerly winds as, of course, the precipitation continues to move further and further away as we head through the day on Saturday. Now, in terms of accumulations of ice, a lot of the ice is already accumulated, but we still think maybe some spots around 1/4 of an inch. That seems probably going to be the most. I think most spots will come in a little bit under than that. So that's going to help. The fact that a lot of this is sleet, maybe slightly lighter ice accumulations may hold down some of the power outages. Let's hope that's the case. And maybe we'll do a little bit better in the snowfall department. So maybe underperforming a little bit on the ice, overperforming a little bit on the snow. I don't think anybody's going to complain if that ends up being the case. And as of right now, we are still looking at Whiteville. The radar is still showing a little bit of snow, but it looks like no snow as of yet in Whiteville. But you still still may see a change over here in another hour or two. 38 for tomorrow. Bitterly cold. Remember, First Alert Action Day because of all the icy spots early in the morning. Even Sunday morning with a low of 23. If you have a shade and you're not able to melt the ice tomorrow, there could be some black icy spots around Sunday morning if you're heading to church. So keep that in mind. And thankfully, the next system on Tuesday, that's going to be a rain system, highs in the mid-50s.
At this hour, states of emergencies have been declared in at least 3 states in the southeast as they are bracing to face winter's wrath, including right here in North Carolina.
Yeah, but it's not just the East Coast staring down those possible storms. Jen Sullivan reports millions of people on the West Coast are getting ready for an unusually strong and rare storm as well.
States of emergency have been declared in Virginia and the Carolinas for a second week in a row. Officials preparing for treacherous travel conditions and power outages as winter's wrath targets the states once again, with freezing rain and snow forecast to strike Friday night into Saturday. In Virginia, black ice-coated roads have already turned driving dangerous. Slick roads sending vehicles sliding into ditches.
The person in the passenger seat tells me that his nightmare turned into a reality. He was taking a nap when his father, who was driving, hit black ice and they skid off the road and ended up in a ditch.
Across the country, over 30 million people are bracing for a windstorm that is forecast to unleash powerful and potentially damaging hurricane-force winds in California, Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. In the target of the storm, the Sacramento area, already hard hit by a major snowstorm last month.
Let's see, got dial tone? Nope. Not yet.
Some people still don't even have phone and internet service about a month later.
I guess you don't realize how important internet and telephone is until you don't have it.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
That's for sure. Now, if your power ends up going out, the American Red Cross has some advice on what to do and what not to do next. Keep refrigerator and freezer doors closed as much as possible. The Red Cross says an unopened refrigerator will keep foods cold for about 4 hours. A full freezer will keep the temperature for about 48 hours. Turn off and unplug all unnecessary electrical equipment and as well as any appliances or electronics you were using when the power went out. Leave a light turned on so you'll know when the power comes back on. And do not drive if you don't have to. If the power is out near you, the traffic lights could be out as well. Emergency officials also suggest using flashlights or battery-powered lights if you have them instead of candles. If you have to use them, make sure you place them in candle-safe holders and keep them away from anything that could catch fire.
A judge has continued the trial of a former teacher who faces sex crimes charges. Peter Frank, the former band teacher at Roland Grice Middle School, faces several counts of sexual crimes, including indecent liberties with a child and a student, each involving children between the ages of 13 and 15. His trial, moved to Bladen County, had a start date of January 24th. The judge has not set a new date yet for that trial. Investigators have identified 2 Camp Lejeune Marines killed this week in a truck crash. 19-year-old Jonathan Gurka of Georgia, 18-year-old Zachary Riffle of West Virginia died when the military truck they rode in overturned, trying to turn from Highway 210 onto Highway 17 near Sneed's Ferry. The driver of the truck, another Marine, is facing 2 counts of death by motor vehicle.
Problem solved. A way now for people without access to the internet to order COVID tests.
And 2 officers responding to a call are shot. One of them did not survive.
You're watching WECT News at 11.
We told you about the Williamson Bridge from the mainland to Ocean Isle Beach closing because of ice. We're learning of another bridge now closed. The town of Carolina Beach on its Facebook page saying because of the dangerous road conditions, the Snows Cut Bridge is now closed until further notice. So if you have to take the Snows Cut Bridge, chances are you're not getting off or on the island at this hour. New tonight, a police officer has died and another one is badly hurt after a shooting.
This happened in Harlem after officers were called out to a domestic disturbance. Investigators say the officer died after being shot, and a second officer was also badly injured and is fighting for his life tonight.
The suspect in the call also died after a third responding officer opened fire. It's the third time in 4 days that NYPD officers have faced gunfire on the job. Another record set in North Carolina during the pandemic. The state health department reports more than 4,800 people are hospitalized with COVID-19 symptoms. People who are unvaccinated make up nearly 3/4 of the hospitalization, 72%. 83% of the COVID-19 related ICU admissions statewide. The high number of COVID-19 patients is putting a strain on hospitals too. Most of the patients are in the Charlotte area. And now the state DHHS has reached out to FEMA trying to get help. FEMA provided the state with 25 ambulances to help earlier this month. The Biden administration has launched a phone line as a way to order COVID-19 tests. The service expands availability to Americans who may not have internet access. The new method for requesting the kits comes days after the feds unveiled a website for putting in the orders. The tests should ship within 7 to 12 days after you make the order. If you'd like to call and order a test, the number's right there on the screen. It's 1-800-232-0233.
Rock superstar Meat Loaf has passed away. His wife made the announcement overnight on his official Facebook page. The rock musician, born Marvin Leah Day, was surrounded by loved ones in the hours before his death. He was 75 years old. Meat Loaf was well known for his Bat Out of Hell album, one of the top-selling albums of all time, and his roles in the Rocky Horror Picture Show and Fight Club. He also won a Grammy in 1994 for the song I'd Do Anything for Love. Now, in the 80s, Meat Loaf did a music video here in Wilmington. The song was Getting Away with Murder. On a personal note, I knew that well. My twin sister and I were in that video. We were like backup singers, but not really. What I remember most was how nice Meat Loaf was to us. Such a gentle soul. Rest in peace, Meat Loaf. Sad news from Hollywood. Actor and comedian Louis Anderson has died. The former Family Feud host passed away Friday morning in Las Vegas. Earlier this week, it was revealed that Anderson was hospitalized for a type of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. From 1999 to 2002, he hosted a revival of the game show Family Feud. His 4-decade career also included an Emmy-winning performance in the TV series Baskets. He was 68 years old.
Before we go, let's do a recap of some of the bridges and roads closed at this hour. The Snows Cut Bridge to and from Carolina Beach is now closed because of dangerous conditions and ice. The Odell Williamson Bridge to and from Ocean Isle Beach also closed until further notice.
And the city of Wilmington saying the Dan Cameron Bridge is impassable and that I-140, the Wilmington-Shallotte exit, is also closed. The MLK Parkway is also closed tonight between Kerr Avenue and downtown due to ice.
We have a full list of those closings online. Let's get one more look at the weather forecast from Eric.
Yeah, it's primarily sleet right now across most of southeastern North Carolina, so we're still starting to see those icy accumulations build up. Good news is it won't be so much on power lines and trees, so that's a good thing. And it looks like we are turning over to snow, particularly in northwestern Bladen County. Still raining, sleet around Whiteville and Chadburn.